What's up, guys? What's going on? Catfish Terry Brayton in the house. What's up, fellas? What is going on, everybody?
It's good.
What's up, guys? Are we all ready for the first ever virtual NFL draft to take place? I got my man's in the house, JD. What up, JD?
Dude, not much. Just a lot of interesting news came out in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, there's we got a lot of talk about today. So, why don't we start off with the Pats with the breaking Patriots news that kind of, happened a couple of days ago. Hey, what's up, Key? What's up, Brandon? How you doing, guys? What's up? Trevor in the house. Trevor, what's going on? So, let's start off with some breaking, it's not so breaking anymore, but the breaking Patriots news. Gronkowski coming out of retirement to go play for the Bucks and reunite with his old buddy there, Tom Brady. Uh, what I mean, I I had mixed reactions about this. I could kind of see it coming in a way. Like, I had to think, like, I for sure thought Gronk was done for good with all the injuries and all the stuff that he suffered. I never in a million years thought he was coming back. But when you started reading some of these reports that were coming out that he was feeling much better and that, like, as of like 2 weeks ago, he was really starting to put weight back on and head towards, playing weight again. JD, this is talk about like a big middle finger to the Pats organization and in particular Bill Belichick, like, cause he could have he could have talked to he could have tried to go back to the Patriots and went to Kraft and Belichick and said, like, I'm back, guy. I'm back. I'm feeling better. I just needed the year off, like, just to kind of recoup and just kind of deal with some injuries. But instead, he kind of gave him the finger, man, and went the opposite direction. And now he's down there with Tom Brady in Tampa. And what do you think, man? What do you make of all that?
Well, first of all, I totally think it's a middle finger to Bill Belichick alone, and I don't think it's necessarily Pat's Nation or the organization or anything like that. It's definitely a middle finger to Bill. You can definitely tell that there's factions. There's factions created. Like I think that a lot of the guys that are still there were supporters of Bill. The guys that signed the good deals, like
McCourty,
Slater. What's
McCourty,
that?
McCourty,
Yeah,
and Slater. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and Gilmore is Bill's guy, but you can tell that Gronkowski was always Tom's guy, and I think that Edelman is also Tom's guy, and I'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, like, I I was shocked. Like, I couldn't believe, like, I mean, it doesn't surprise because he is young. Like, he's still young. He's only 30 years old. He'll turn, I think he
Yeah,
turns 31 this year. I mean, and he's
sometimes it takes a while to get over those big injuries.
that's yeah, like, I don't know if Karam said he was waiting for this live stream. Hey, man, I really don't know what else to say. Like, I was kind of, in a way, I get it though, because, like, after the Super Bowl, if you listen to some of those audio clips, like, Gronk said something to Bill, like, I haven't stepped out, like, I haven't he said I haven't stepped out in like 3 months, and Bill said one of the audio clips said, and Bill said, even I haven't stepped out in a month. It, like, basically, basically gone and enjoyed themselves and actually gone out and had some fun. And I think I just, that type of militaristic regiment, it does it work? Yeah, yes, it does. It does. But after a it's after a while, that's to players. That's especially if you've earned your status and if you've earned, like, your keep, like Brady and Gronk have done for so long. It has to get old, JD. It has to.
Yeah, the message runs dry after a while. It's like after a while, it's just like you're just it's like Mike McCarthy kind of only in a great to a greater extent because Bill Belichick's even more of an authoritarian. But like after a while, it just the message like you just don't nobody buys in anymore. And if Tom Brady stopped buying in, then Bill Belichick wants to get him out of there as soon as possible because for him that's toxicity. He's like, nah, dude, this is a system. Like Popovich and Kawhi Leonard, it's kind of like the same thing. Only Tom Brady used to be the Tim Duncan, and now he's kind of like got an ego himself. So it kind of came full circle for him.
Yeah, that whole the whole dynamic in Foxborough is getting really interesting. Like you said, the factions and stuff like that, JD. It does, like, these young kids that are coming in, and then you have these wily veterans that have been there. Like, it's a different, dude. It's a different NFL now than it was 15, 20 years ago. You know, when they first started this, this kind of historic run in the, Belichick first kind of started out with this, militaristic regiment of regiment of running things, and it's got to get old, man. It has to get old. It has to over time.
Well, Gronk, yeah, he was a guy. He wasn't about to be traded either. Like he talked about it on Fox Sports how they were trying to trade him to the Lions with Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia wanted him.
Yeah, years ago. Years ago, they were trying to do this. Belichick tried to trade the two of them years ago.
Exactly, and he wasn't having it. He was like, "Nah, dude, I'd rather retire." And now he's controlled his own fate. Like, honestly, this is just, to me, this just shows how much the players can control their fate. A lot of time because of money, they don't control their fate because of money. They decide not to, but they decide not to because it's a country town. Everyone's being loud as fucking no reason. but they don't want to because there's money on the table. But you can control your own fate, and I think, grab your tinfoil hats. I'm going to drop this one. Put them on. I think Edelman's going to be in Tampa too.
Do you really think they're all going to try and go down there?
Edelman's going to Tampa. I'm calling it right now.
He's the only one left out of and I mean, let's be honest, JD. He's not getting any younger. Edelman is not getting any younger.
Why would Edelman have a mediocre season with an average quarterback who is going to have to learn all of Edelman's in and outs, rather than have Tom Brady? And like at the end of the day, the Patriots can always cut Edelman. They always can. So if Edelman really wants to leave, he just cannot show up to training camp and they'll cut him. Like, he has that much power. He could easily do that. But if they trade him, then the Patriots will get something back, just like they did for Gronk. So I think that's the next pillar to fall. I'm just thinking that, like, Belichick's going to try to, like, salvage that relationship and try to convince Edelman to be a team player and whatever else. I don't know.
Hey, BTG raid incoming. What's up? Be on the game. Thanks a lot, brother. Much appreciated. Salsa in the house. Lima, what's up, guys? What's going on? Yeah, it's JD. You had said this a month ago that something like this could go, like, even when we were talking about when we had done the whole Brady watch. You were talking about the lines in the sand that were being drawn, and the sides that that people that
they had a media battle. And, and they kind of both won to some degree because there's Team Bill, there's Team Tom. They kind of both, like, got where they needed to be. A lot of Patriots fans don't want to choose sides because they're just like, Tom was too important to us. I would never root against him, basically, and I get that too. But a lot of guys are saying, what, in Bill we trust,
Yeah, no, that's it's.
But
I just find it funny because you had said that something like this was could happen, and during the Brady watch, and you were right. You were absolutely right. There were lines in the sand being drawn at that point, and they just completely just got exposed.
Brady inspires a lot of loyalty. He's a guy who's a leader. He especially on that offense, he demands a lot of respect, and people give it to him, and they love him. Like, even people that aren't part of the Patriots very much. Like, I think James Harrison was saying what a great guy he was, even though he's only spent like half a year there. It's like if you know Tom and you don't like Bill, you're gonna do whatever Tom wants you to do. And Tom was probably like, "Hey, Rob, doing this outside," and realized it'd be so loud. He's like, "Hey, Rob, come out of retirement, man. Let's go for one more try, right?" I don't know. Seems smart.
Yeah, it does seem like the Bucks are going all in. It does seem like it.
It's do or die. It's do or die for sure for them. And I mean, Brady probably is looking at this like, also, I can face Breeze. I can kind of solidify my dominance over him. That's something he's probably in the back of his head a little bit. I'm excited.
Yeah, there's so let's kind of shift gears. The Gronk thing was it was a bad look for the Pats and Bill. Like that's a bad look on them. The fact that he didn't even want to like even try. Like he didn't even want to even try to do any form of negotiating. He just said, just get me out of here. You know what I mean? Like, and they didn't get much for him, but that just goes to show you, since Bill didn't push to get anything for him, it just goes to show you that he's kind of. It's almost like Bill's accepted. I don't want to say accepted defeat, but they got him again. You know what I mean? Brady got him. I mean, Brady got out of there.
You got to pick for him though.
Brady got out of there. Andy got paid. You know what I mean? And then, Gronk got out of there, and it just like the lines in the sand are definitely being drawn with the team, and the draft for them is going to be huge. It's gonna do the Patriots, are they in the running for the team to go, to try and trade up? So I've heard rumors that Belichick is, and I believe it, because Bill is a big Alabama guy and he's tight with Saban. And if Saban tells him that that Tua can play, and that Bill took a look at him, and according to the reports, Belichick does like Tua's game, even though he scored low on the Wonderlic test. He does like, Tua's potential.
Well, he probably thinks he can protect him too.
That's what I mean. So if that's the case, right, then number one, you gotta. I mean, Stephon Gilmore and Edelman have to be on the trade block. They have to be, because that's the only way trading players of that stature. That's the only way you're going to be able to get up high enough into the draft to get.
How young is Gilmore?
Gilmore's 30, so he's not young either.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like this is where I kind of draw the line.
So you want him to tank? You think they'll tank?
I don't think Bill has tanking, and Bill would rather trade the entire team away than tank. You know what I mean? I don't think Bill has it in him to tank. But I don't think they have the draft collateral to get high enough in the draft to get Tua. I think
they have 12 picks, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Tua is, what's Tua projected to go at, in between like 6 and 10, right? That's from what I'm hearing.
Unless the Dolphins take him, that's what I.
If
the Dolphins take him, otherwise he's going to go later.
6 to 10,
otherwise,
yeah.
6 to 10,
If he falls past the Dolphins pick, he'll go, because what are they picking? What are the Dolphins picking?
You know what? That's a good question. I totally forgot. I think it's like 4. I want to say 4. Maybe
yeah. So if he falls past the Dolphins and they don't take him, which I, from what I've been hearing, they've been trying to secure that pick to make sure that they could have a shot at Tua.
5. I guess it's 5th pick.
5. Okay, Connor Burks is 5. Okay,
yeah,
5.
like that.
So Miami has 5 and 18. Yeah, so they're trying to ensure that they get a quarterback, basically.
Yeah.
But I like the rumors that the Pats are going after Tua is well and good, but they simply don't have the collateral and the what it's going to take to get high enough to get him, because the Patriots are a high pick. There's no way you're going to move 12 or 13. They would have to move, I think, 13 spots to get him. 13 or 14 spots. Like that's
It's pretty damn high.
yeah, like that's unheard of. Like you would have to
You have
give
to
up
trade Gilmore and a pick or something.
that's what I mean. Like you would have to give up Gilmore and your first round pick to get that high, and that's just not a Belichickian thing to do.
No, he likes to get value out of people. Like he thinks that they're talking about Stidham as if he's like a for sure starter caliber guy, and that's because Belichick thinks that he can turn anyone. He really does. He thinks he can turn anyone into a star. He really does. He just say it doesn't matter what position it is. He thinks anyone can become Tom Brady. He really does. He really
Like
does.
so there's I mean, like dude, there's a lot the riding on this draft for the
for the Pats, for sure.
for the Pats. Hey, Mr. P, I hope, man. I hope Mr. P, I hope you're right, man. I hope the Patriots are going to be okay. I mean, I hope Belichick and his crew manage to put together a really good draft, and I don't want to say start rebuilding the dynasty, but I hope they put it together enough to where we can stay in the hunt. I don't, maybe not so much in contention because we have lost a lot of talent, but just at least stay in the hunt. That's all. I hope, man. I certainly hope.
I mean, it's really the Bills' division to lose. If the Bills come out flat, then Bill Belichick could down the stretch take advantage. Like, I bet we're gonna see them lose a few early games. Like they might even start like 1-3 or some shit, because he just does that early on. Like we've seen the Patriots come out 2-2 like five, 6 times, and then they end up like 13-3. Like we see that a lot. So I could see him down the stretch like winning more games if they do end up winning more. But it depends on if people can stay healthy. There's a lot of factors that take place, and they're not that talented to begin with. A lot of people are saying, well, he went 11-5 when Tom Brady got hurt. Well, that was when he had a team that went 16-0 the year prior. So that was a really, 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 really good team. You can win. You can overcome bad quarterback play with a really good team.
This is like me and you've talked about it. This is one of the most important drafts for the Pats in probably 12 years.
For Belichick, maybe ever.
Yeah.
For Belichick ever, to like solidify his dominance.
Yeah. So if he's the one thing the Pats have really struggled with the last couple of years, JD, is the roster for them has just gotten older and older, and they have to have that influx of youth, and they haven't.
And they've missed on a lot of picks. They've missed on a lot of linebackers. They've missed on receivers. They've missed on a couple of defensive tackles and stuff. They've missed a lot actually lately, so it doesn't help.
No, the last they were talking about that today on the radio. And in a couple of articles, a couple of the beat writers wrote that Bill has got to hit in the first he's got to hit in the first 3 rounds of this draft, or they could be in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing. Like for the Patriots, it's kind of like a privilege. It's kind of like a privilege, isn't it? It's kind of a privilege being to say like saying, oh man, if we're not like in the wild card hunt at the end of the season, then it's a failure. Then it's a complete failure. You know what I mean? Like that's such a privilege that Boston fans have. Because everyone else in the whole country, we'd be lucky to be above 500 every year. So it's just
the bar has definitely been set very high, very high.
And Belichick wants to keep it that way. Like I said in one of my things, he has on one of my videos, he has his hand on the history books, and he wants to write his history that he was perfect. Basically, he could turn coal into gold. Basically, that's what he wants people to think. He wants to be considered better than Bill Walsh, Parcells, all of them.
Mr. PA, it wouldn't surprise me, bro, if the Patriots did go after one of those veterans. It wouldn't surprise me because they've done stuff like that in the past where they've waited till the last minute, the last second, and then before the season they'll sign somebody. It wouldn't surprise me.
If Cam Newton is willing to take less money, Belichick, I bet, would kind of like
If Cam took a team friendly deal, it would.
Like the challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
He would like that challenge. I bet he's that kind of guy. He thinks he can do. He thinks his poop does not stink. He really does. He thinks he can turn anything into anything. He really does.
No, hey, Mr. P, I agree, man. Belichick does know what he's doing, but this is just a very important draft. Like he has to hit. He does. Out of the 12 picks that we 11 or 12 picks we have, we probably got to get 4 or 5 of those guys to hit and either be solid depth pieces or starters.
The narrative can go in so many different ways. Because, like, even if Belichick, let's say Belichick totally fails, right? They go like 4-12, which I don't think is going to happen. But let's say they go 4-12, and all of the draft picks suck, and people just are mad for a while. He's got so much time. He's only in his 60s, and I feel like Patriots fans are going to look at this like, okay, it's a bump in the road. He'll pick us back up, and they'll probably be right. Even if Tom wins a Super Bowl, which I don't know if he can, but even if he does, and Belichick is 4-12, I think that still Patriots fans will say will look around and say, you tell me actually, you're the Patriots fan. I think they'll look around and say, well, we still have Belichick. He's 6 rings.
I'm going to actually go the opposite way with that. I'm going to say that's a win for Tom. If Tom goes,
huge win for Tom.
If Tom, like, because the age-old question for Pats fans forever has been, who's more important? Who's more important? Is it Tom or is it Bill? Right? Now, I don't think 1 year is going to answer it for us, but it will give Brady that round. Round 1, ding. End of fight. End of round goes to Brady if he does better than if the put it this way, if the Bucks go 11-5 and make it into like the second round of the playoffs, and the Pats get bounced in a wild card, that's a win for Tom. For Tom. That's a win for Tom. But if the Bucks don't make the playoffs with Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, call it Cameron Brate, because I think OJ Howard is going to get traded. I think they're going to keep Gronk and Brate.
Probably.
So, and then you have Godwin down there, right?
Right, yeah, Godwin, a few other,
Godwin and Evans, right? So if that doesn't pan out down there, and let's say they go 2 seasons where they win 7 games, that's a win for Bill. Like let's say Bill goes 10-6 for the next 2 years, and Brady goes 7-9 or 8-8. I would call that a win for Bill. I mean, like I said, we're going to get the answer. Over the next 3 years, Pats fans you're going to get to realistically see who really.
I agree. This is a very much.
Go ahead, JD.
I think I like them that one, but this is a very win-loser situation, and we really could get a no answer to this, because think about 3 scenarios. Let's say that Bill sucks, and then eventually he gets fired, and he never has it again with the Patriots. Times where wins the Super Bowl. That'd be a win for Tom Brady. It could be a draw where both of them win. Belichick goes to a few more playoffs, wins 1 more Super Bowl. Tom makes the playoffs a few times. That's a double win. That's 2 people winning. And we could just see a draw where they both kind of just fizzle out.
Yeah, and that's the worst part about it, right? Let's say it's a draw, like, because people want to know, you know what I mean? It's
people want to know.
People want to know, like the masses want to, Pats fans have always wondered who was more. Me personally, I think it's a sum of their parts. Do I think Tom could have won a Super Bowl with one of these second tier coaches, or maybe 2 Super Bowls? Maybe put on the right team, he probably could have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he's, like I said in one of my videos, I think that Tom Brady, if without Bill, is Kurt Warner.
Yeah, maybe one or two Super Bowls. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. And I don't think he would be exceptional, but I think he would win a lot, and I think he would probably have burnt out a lot quicker. What up, TJ? What up?
So Skelly says Bill's going to build it back through a defensive philosophy. That's what he tried to do last year, Skells. That's what I should say that's what he started to do. He built the defense up last year, or at least tried to.
Run first?
Huh?
Is Jared Stidham thrived under a run first system in college.
Well, that's another thing altogether. I mean, we could talk. We'll talk about that for a minute, right? I'm not a Sony Michel fan. I think they picked the wrong running back. I wanted Nick Chubb. If they were going to run the ball like they did, like if they were going to run the ball in the style that they did with that stretch blocking and a fullback out in front of them, Nick Chubb fits that better than Sony Michel. Sony Michel, when Sony Michel is not a power runner. He's not.
No, he's like a spread in space runner kind of.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, he's a bubble screen. He's a dump off running back. Like he's a guy you get in space and let him do his thing. I think they picked the wrong running back. I think they wanted Nick Chubb. That's what I think. Hey,
sure.
What's up, Sports Reaction?
Hey, what up, Sports Reaction? That's why this is such an important draft, like you said. This is so important because it's kind of like the Raiders draft. Like, it was so important when they lost Khalil Mack. It was so important. They had so many picks. They had like 11 picks, and they needed to hit on like 5 of them because if they didn't, then that trade would have been absolutely worthless. And they hit on most of them. So a lot of Raiders fans are like, oh, the Bears lost that trade. We got a bunch of great players. It's like, yeah, but we got a franchise defensive player that we wanted anyway. So it's kind of like a win-win. The fact that you guys didn't fail the draft doesn't make it not a win for us too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good job, guys. You didn't suck.
So Mr. P made a good point. He said he did good. He said he did. Sony did do well though. He did. He's not the same running back when you don't have James Devlin. When you put a fullback in front of Sony Michel and he gets that initial block from the line, and then Devlin leads him into the second level, and then Devlin hits the linebacker or the corner or whatever. The first guy, Michel is very good at reading the field in open space. So he can get through that initial those stretch blocking plays would get him into the second level, and he's good at reading the block from Devlin and then making his cut. But when Devlin got hurt, I think he turned into a different running back because he couldn't. I don't think he has the power enough to break through the line to get into the second level.
He's not he's not like a really talented guy. Like, I'm not bashing him or anything.
But he is good. Like, I like him. Yeah. I like him in space. I like Sony Michel in space a lot because he makes stuff happen. Hold on, Mr. P. Let me scroll back up, buddy.
That's kind of a lot from Belichick players. Like, Belichick drafts guys who are smart but not that talented. But he relies.
So Mr. P says here, JD. I'll let you answer first. Mr. P says, do you think Tom Brady would have been this good if Bledsoe never got hurt and Brady never got his chance?
Yes, because it wasn't about what happened. It was about his mentality. His mentality, if you watch the Brady Six and other things that he has talked about, whenever he talks about whenever he was young and his parents talking about, he was incredibly determined. Because he didn't want to go get a regular job. He wanted to play football. That's what he loved to do, and he wanted to do it. So just like Kurt Warner, same thing. He was bagging groceries, and then he joined an arena football team. Mm-hmm. These guys are wired differently. When they put their mind to something, they're going to do it, even if people don't see the vision in front of them. Like, Brady didn't have gaudy stats, neither did Warner. He had like 17 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. But he went to 3 Super Bowls. So they're going to make it happen no matter what they have to do, where they have to get better. Brady would have gone to a different coach and gotten better and made that coach better. That's what would have happened. They made each other better, and I won't let anyone tell me that it was all Belichick, especially not Belichick.
Yeah, no, I've said for years that it's always been the reason to me the main reason why why the Pats have been so successful over the years, right? They will in the draft in rounds 2 through 4. They'll take guys that are C minus guys, right?
Yeah.
And coach them up to a B plus. You know what I mean?
The C
And
minus
so
loyal.
here's the thing, right? C minus guys to a B plus, but they also have maybe an A guy thrown in there every once. You'll have a couple of guys that are really good. But here's the thing: when 80% of your team is at B plus as a rating, that's why because the sum of the sum of the team is good enough to make up for the deficiencies in certain areas. You know what I mean? Like if
That's why they wouldn't pay Brady.
yeah, if all aspects of your team are at a B plus, like let's say you have an A plus offense and a D plus, a D plus special teams and a D plus defense, like you can't win like that because because you're gonna get scored. Like that's just my philosophy on why they've been so successful for so long is because the sum of the team is a B plus. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
think
they're
that's why they've won
well-rounded
for so long.
completely. There's no real weakness to their team, and he's a detail oriented guy, so he makes sure that there's no weakness. And I think that his weakness, I think that Belichick's weakness, is he's not able to recognize when. Well, it's not that he can't recognize. I'm sure he knows that these country folks, man, they're so loud. Um, I was gonna say that I'm sure he can recognize that he is half screwed. I'm sure he recognizes that because his plan was to groom Jimmy G in time for basically the Super Bowl against the Rams, right? That was supposed to be Jimmy G's Super Bowl. That was supposed to be Jimmy G's Super Bowl, but Tom Brady wouldn't leave. So basically, he groomed Jimmy G. Then he would have figured, okay, then I'm going to pay Jimmy G, and Tom will have already been gone, and Jimmy will have already won a Super Bowl, and then I can build around Jimmy G. But he didn't get that. He didn't get that. He ended up having to get rid of Jimmy G. So now his plan is just warped, and he won't move off of it. He's like, all right, screw that. We'll go Stidham, whatever, Stidham, sure. Why not Stidham? I think
I definitely think Brady winning that Super Bowl against the Rams threw a wrench in Belichick's plan, because I fully expected um that I fully expected him to get trade to get traded. I'm
Brady,
pretty sure
right?
that was the plan, or at least hope that, like, Belichick for years I think has wanted to try and push forward and kind of move forward with the team, but Brady's maniacal attitude and play, like, it didn't drop off until last year. It literally didn't drop off until last year, and it's
And I have you know what? I want to speak to that really quick because I have a theory as to why it dropped off. My theory as to why it dropped off is that Belichick sabotaged Tom, and Tom probably knows it. Because here's why, dude. Belichick knew that Gronk was going to be gone. He knew Gronk was going to be gone. He knew that Edelman was going to be hurt, and he drafted and signed nobody. He drafted and signed no tight ends. He drafted and signed no receivers. He didn't trade for anyone. Tom was hoping he would have signed somebody or trade someone in the offseason, maybe AJ Green. He didn't do it. Brady had one of his worst statistical years in like 10 years because he had no tight end. And Brady and Belichick knows Tom needs a tight end. So it's just, to me, this is like, it's really like his bad season was kind of sabotaged by Belichick. I feel like if Belichick really wanted to, they could have had a better year.
See, the thing that shocked me was I thought for sure Belichick was going to go after a tight end. Like in the draft last year, I thought for sure when they knew that Gronk was gone, I was like, well, we know what the Pats are picking first round. They got to take They got to take a tight end. And then like round 4 came around, and I was like, well, I think there was round 3 or 4 came around, and I was like, well, there's 2 tight ends left on the board. They could probably work with either one of those. You know what I mean? I was like, they could probably work with either one of those, but the draft finished and they picked like it. They thought that Bill thought or Bill's plan was to try and mask that his offensive insufficiencies with just letting people score, 12 points a game and trying to win that way. But like that's a dangerous game because in an offensive based league, like you're playing a dangerous game that way. That's a hard way to win football games, especially now with the way they're cracking down on D.
I think Bill kind of threw the ball at Tom and said, "Okay, you think you're so good? Watch what happens when I don't give you a tight end." And he still threw for 4,000 yards and like played pretty well. But I think that was definitely in his mind. Like, okay, Tom thinks he's so good. I'm not going to give him any like weapon. He gave him AB. All right, he gave him AB. But I mean, that was kind of like a cheap commodity. You know what I mean?
So Rich from the sport, Rich says Brady will arguably have the best weapons in his career. Will he bounce back in Tampa Bay? I think Tampa's going to get 2 very good years out of Tom. I think they're going to get 2 very good years out of him down there. I mean,
Yep.
I think Tampa has the Tampa. Put it this way: Tampa Bay's ceiling is very high, very high.
4,800 yards. I'm calling it right now. 4,800 yards. There's a few reasons why I think that's the case. One, they're going to do absolutely everything they can possibly do to make Tom comfortable. They're going to draft to build around Tom, unlike Bill. They're going to do everything they can to make him comfortable. He's going to get all the free agents he wants. He'll probably get Edelman. And here's the other 2 reasons. If Gronk plays anywhere near to his former self, then he'll have an amazing over-the-top threat in the middle of the field, which that's his favorite place to work. And also, Mike Evans is probably the best tool that Brady has had at his disposal. Guaranteed tool, not counting AB. Best tool he's had since Randy Moss.
Yeah, no, he's going to have a lot of weapons down there. He's going to have a lot of. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if you see Tampa pick offensive line in this draft at least twice to try and protect him.
I agree. I think they're going to do everything they can to make Tom comfortable.
I think it would not surprise me at all if Tampa Bay's pick rolled around and you saw them take a lineman and you saw them you see them go offensive line first.
There's a bumblebee over there.
Sports reaction. Mike Evans is something else. And now that he's actually got a quarterback that can get him the ball in some space, and you know what Brady's going to do for Evans too? Brady's going to teach Evans too. He's going to tell him on this route, run it like this. I will throw you open. And let you work. Dude, Godwin and Evans are going to have.
Oh yeah,
and Godwin and Evans are going to have ridiculous fantasy years this year. Ridiculous
as
numbers.
long as that old line can hold up, then they'll be a great offense. Because Tom, there's one thing Tom is. Tom isn't necessarily the greatest arm. He's not gonna always throw you open. But if you get open,
he will get you the ball. He will get you the football.
He's not gonna miss you.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of guys miss him.
And one thing that's interesting down there, right? These teams, you got to add in the factor, right? You got to add in this, right? Brady's mind has been his greatest weapon. What's it going to look like when he's looking across from when he's looking across from the Panthers, from the Saints, from everybody in that division, right? They're going to have to realize, real quick that they better disguise their blitz coverages real well, or they're going to get taken apart.
This isn't Jameis Winston. Like, they're not going to be able to have 3 turnovers a game from the quarterback. This is not going to happen. So you have to approach the Bucs a completely different way than you did last year. And yeah, Jameis Winston, maybe 1 or 2 throws a game. He's going to make a throw that's better than Brady and going to make a throw that's better than Tom. But the thing about Tom is he has weapons, 1, and 2, he's not going to make mistakes. So he's going to use his weapons. He's not going to make mistakes. He knows what the hell you want to do, and he's going to do whatever he wants to do. He's going to dictate the game. He's going to control the pace of the game. That's how he beat Pat Mahomes. And don't give Bill credit for that, because Bill had no answer for Pat Mahomes. He had no answer for Pat Mahomes.
I know. Yeah. Nope. That's facts.
It was all Brady.
Yeah. So
good
what
chat.
do you make of the Dolphins there, JD? Are they you think they're realistically going to pick Tua? Because I've read more than one article now saying that Flores is not afraid of Tua's hip, and
Well, that seems to be the talk of, like, Tua seems to be the talk of, like, everyone. Everyone has a different opinion on him, and, like, it seems to be completely fractured. Like, some people are saying he's Carson Wentz. You know, he's just going to get hurt, but he'll come back and he'll play well. Some people are saying, oh, it's devastating, and if he gets hurt one more time, he can't play anymore. So I don't know what to think of Tua. I really don't. Like, there's so many different opinions floating out there. It's hard to tell which one seems the most reasonable. But at the same time, I do think that the Dolphins will take a chance on, if Tua's there. Well, it depends on who's there. Like, I'm thinking they'd probably take a few other guys before Tua, but not very many other guys. Like, I'm not sure which guys either. Maybe Love, maybe Herbert. But I do think that they're going to take a chance.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about Herbert. I haven't been a fan of his for a while now. I don't think his game is going to translate well.
Like, from what I understand, I've only seen a little bit of his highlights, but from what I understand, he's like a poor man's Josh Allen. And Josh Allen is, I mean, he's definitely developing. He'll definitely be something.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. He was lucky to develop. If you don't develop like Josh Allen developed, then you're a liability. You're like Blake Bortles. So that's what you're hoping that he's not. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say with these rookies. This is like a lot of B prospects, in my opinion. Like, none of them are like ridiculously.
What quarterback do you? So outside of Burrow, who gets taken next for quarterbacks after Joe? Because obviously Burrow's going number one. Obviously.
Like,
so
I don't know.
Who's the next one to go? Who do you think the next quarterback's gonna?
It's really hard to say, because people could trade up too. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen it we thought Deshaun Watson would be the first one off the board in 2017, and then Trubisky was the first one off the board. So it's like, we really don't know who loves who. It's pretty much depends on who loves who. But if I had to guess, I just guess after Burrow, probably
it might be Tua.
Yeah, probably. I was gonna say, like, I would say Love, but I don't know. Probably Tua.
I don't think people are high enough on Jordan Love to take him that high, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It really just depends on who falls in love with who, because that's what it is. It's GMs falling in love with quarterbacks at this point.
So who do you guys think in the chat's going out? So who do you think in the what quarterback do you guys think goes after Burrow? Because obviously Burrow's going to go number one. Is it Herbert? Is it Tua?
What if the Skins pass up on Chase Young?
Wow, that would be insane.
That's what Sports Reaction just asked. That would be nuts.
Why would you pass on him though? Why? Who would they? So hypothetical situation. If they do pass on Love if they do pass, who do they take? Not, I mean, it would, like,
if they pass on Tua?
No.
On Young?
If they pass on Chase Young, who do they pick then?
It just depends. Like, if Jordan Love is like, I think it'd be Jordan Love or Tua. If they didn't pass, it depends on if. like Snyder, because Snyder seems to be a guy who falls in love. The thing is, though, Snyder, I don't think it's going to happen. Here's why, actually. I just remembered this. Snyder and Dwayne Haskins are friends because something about his Dwayne Haskins is friends with his son or something like that. So I think that I don't think that'll happen. I think that Chase Young is almost a lock at this
What?
point.
So what? Here's
What about the Lions, though? Oh, sorry.
What if the Broncos trade up to go get Judy?
That would be interesting. That would show a lot of faith in Drew Lock. That would mean
Because
that
they need a receiver. Cortland Sutton is a good player. They need another, if they get another solid receiver, Drew Lock is gonna have a lot of help.
trading up to get Judy would show a lot of faith in Lock,
Yeah.
because you're basically putting your future in Lock's hands. You're basically saying you're good enough to develop this receiver. So it's risky to do, but I mean,
I could see it. I could, because they don't need to go far to get him either. You know what I mean?
yeah.
don't-
They probably won't have to give up much.
That's what I'm saying. They won't have to give. They don't have to go. They don't have to move too many spots to get him.
He said.
So Karam says Broncos will take a wide receiver at 14. Then who do you? So if they're gonna stay where they're at, Karam, who are they gonna take at 14? Then who do you think's still gonna be there? Because I think Ruggs and Jefferson could be gone by then.
Dude, I keep hearing that. I don't know how reliable it is, but I keep hearing that receivers are going to fall because there's so many receivers in this draft, and it's hard to choose. It's hard to decide which one's better than the other one.
Yeah.
Besides Judy, obviously, there's a few more maybe at the top, but after that, it gets really hard to choose. I think that O linemen are going to be ridiculously high in this draft. I think that all the O linemen are going to be taken really freaking early.
Well, yeah, because everybody's looking to protect their quarterbacks.
There's a huge shortage in left tackles right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to pay any left tackle because they all suck.
I know. Look at the contract that Trent Brown got for the Raiders from when they got him from the Patriots. I have another interesting question for you. Is Leonard Fournette on the trade block to move up in the draft?
I mean, I'm sure he is. The Chiefs rumors don't make any sense to me. But if I'm whoever, you know what? I'll be straight up. I'm staying the hell away from Leonard Fournette if I'm any team, because I heard this stat that every 2 weeks his stats go down. So throughout the season, he starts out really good. He's 5.5 yards a carry, then it's 5.2, then it's 4.6, then it's 4.4, then it's.
So the stamina is just not there. You're saying, right?
He can't seem to last all season. So I'm staying away from him. But I do think that's what's happening, though. I agree with you. I do think they're trying to get more draft picks.
That's a stamina thing, right? So, I mean,
that's why running backs don't get paid. They don't last long.
Yeah, and and here's the thing: what team out there that's higher, that's higher than the Jags that would want a running back? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the only team I could think is maybe the Lions or something. Maybe the Lions for really cheap. Maybe the Patriots. But yeah, I'm not seeing many. I don't think many teams would use them. Jags would almost have to pay you to take it.
All right, Rich, you take it easy, man.
Peace out. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Yeah, for sure.
You take it easy, Rich. Hey, Crisco in the house. What's up, Crisco? So here's an interesting, JD, what do you think the Lions are going to do? Because they're a wild card. They could go in about 4 different directions with this draft.
Well, they should do what all the media conglomerates are speculating. They should take Tua and sit him behind Matthew Stafford and basically tease. Basically, here's the thing with Tua. You take him, right? Let's say he gets banged up in practice. You don't even have to report that hardly. You can literally say he's sore or something like that. You don't have to report something like that when he's not the starter, because he's not starting. So you can keep him in there, even if he is injury prone as hell, right? Let's say he's a bust and you know it, and he's injury prone. You can still sell hope to somebody else for a high draft pick. So taking him is kind of, or not taking him is kind of stupid in my opinion at that point. Because you can leverage it against other people.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You have
I personally think that there's a good chance that they could draft a quarterback.
They should, or they should trade it right away.
They should draft either a quarterback or they need a running back. They've been terrible at running back.
I haven't heard of any.
They've been terrible at running back forever. For like 4 years now, they've been bad at running back. They need a legitimate running back to help Stafford out.
And they could use a guy like Fournette. Honestly, they could. Like, even though he kind of is eroded.
If they got Fournette for cheap and they managed him and they used him like they have a couple of change of pace backs there. So if they used Leonard Fournette in like a LeGarrette Blount type of situation where you get him down inside the 20s and you just use him as that big, heavy-bodied, banger running back, they would be successful that way. They would be, get yourself a 3-down running back or do an RB by committee and use 2 running backs, two scat backs, and then use Fournette as that big kind of, jackhammer running back down around the goal line. Kerryon Johnson's a good running back, Karam, but I think a big running back, a goal line running back could help them. I think my man JD lagged out. I'm pretty sure. The Buccaneers, Crisco, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they already have a running back. I don't know if they're going to make moves to get anyone else, but I'm pretty sure they have one. All right, there he is. We can't hear you, bro. No sound. No. Try it again. I'm kind of curious, to be honest, guys. I'm curious to see how the Lions are going to draft as well. I mean, not the Lions, the Giants. I'm definitely curious to see how the Lions are going to. I mean, why do I keep saying the Lions? We were just talking the Giants draft as well. The Giants are an interesting one. I think with as much. There he is. There you go. Now you're better. Yeah, you're good. We got you. Your audio is good. There you go. Yep, you're good now. Yeah. So.
That's weird. I guess a cloud went over my head. What I was going to say is...
Go ahead, JD. You lagged out again.
I'm just going to wait.
Billy says the Jags and Giants may trade. That would be interesting. That would be interesting, Belly. But I think the Giants have invested so much in. Daniel Jones. It's all good, JD. No worries, man. You're good. You're good, bro. The Giants have invested so much in Daniel Jones that I have to think this year they'll probably trade back. They'll probably trade back and I would think pick an offensive line first. pick an O lineman first to protect, to kind of protect their investment. That's my thinking. All right, you there, GD? There he is. Nope, maybe not. But that's my thinking is that the Giants are gonna trade back and they will pick an offensive lineman first to protect Daniel Jones. That's what I think they're gonna do. Let's try this again. There you go. Better?
Sorry, dude. I think so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now.
All right.
So what do you,
I don't know
JD? What do you think about the Giants? Do you think I personally think they trade back? I think that because I still think they're going to be able to get a good offensive lineman if they trade back in the draft and get more assets, to kind of continue the building process. But I think they trade back and pick an O line first. That's how I think they're gonna go that way. What do you think though? Do you think they stay put or do you think they move?
Either way, I think they get an O line out of this because they're sold on Jones. They're married to Jones right now, and they want to get the most they can out of Barkley. Um,
They think highly of Daniel Jones. They really do. That organization they like Jones. They like his ceiling. I think that's why they're sticking with him. They can see a high ceiling if he develops correctly. I think that's why I think that's why the organization likes him because the potential is there.
I totally agree. I totally agree. The potential's there, and I think that since they have a running game, they feel like, hey man, you have every chance in the world, especially if they give him an O line. And Daniel Jones is kind of a cop out to the Giants community that's been complaining about Eli for a long time. They're like, okay, fine, we're listening to you guys. We got a quarterback, we got a young running back, we have a new core. That's kind of what it was about. They didn't want any naysayers. That's why they got rid of Odell Beckham because he would have just been a distraction. So. No, yeah.
I personally think that was the smartest thing they ever did is get rid of OBJ. That dude was an absolute poison in the locker room. I think they're building. I think they're building back in the right direction. I think they got that toxicity out of the locker room, and that was like step one of kind of like trying to get back to where they were in 2007, 2008. That culture in that locker room where they all, it's all for one and those guys play for they play for each other. I think they're trying to get back to that kind of a locker room and I have to think that I mean, I haven't been, some of the moves they've made have been questionable, but for the most part they're doing pretty well. I think it's taken them a little longer than they expected. You're on. There you go. You got. Yeah.
My bad, my neighbor. But anyway, yeah. No, I think it's taken them a while, and I think that getting rid of OBJ was essential in hitting the reset button. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you can use OBJ, but if you did, I don't know. Like I feel like that could stunt the development of a young guy like Daniel Jones. You'd rather have him fail for a while with lesser talent than succeed with, I don't know, somebody who's toxic, like you said. But yeah.
But that's that. So like the Giants are a wild card team, though. They have a new coach. Gettleman's the GM there, and it's like they're trying to build a new. They're trying to keep that culture building up the right way. So they're definitely we could see something surprising from them. A surprising move from them. I think there's a couple of wild cards. Detroit's definitely a wild card. The Dolphins are definitely a wild. The top 8 picks to me, I think, are going to move around a lot. I think people are. I think this draft, you're going to see the top 10. I think those that from picks 6 to 10. I think you're going to see those guys if they want their guy. That you're going to see. You could see
Break
them.
up.
Yeah, you could see them make some moves to try and get inside that top 5.
Yeah, like two or three potential picks I could see. One thing I wanted to say really quick about the Lions is I don't think that the Lions are going to, like, let's say they drafted Tua. I don't think they're, unless Patricia can convince the owner that he's worth a lot, then I don't think that they're going to trade Stafford anytime soon. I think they're going to keep
No.
Stafford, and because here's the reason why: Patricia does not want to lose his job. And one more thing I wanted to say about one more thing I talked about Karam with Karam. I wanted your thoughts on it. Cowboys. So there's some speculation that the Cowboys could trade maybe the Dolphins for their high pick and get a young quarterback. I saw a few posts about that and from a few Cowboys fans. Karam
What
thinks
if they
that's
what if
crazy.
they what if they traded Dak to the Dolphins and
Right.
took their pick and
Took
draft
their
and
pick
dra- and drafted like Tua or draft you know what I mean?
if their guy's there, if they liked Love or Tua or something like that, and they wanted to take a risk on it and get rid of Dak, and Karam is saying like he doesn't want that. He said I'll be so pissed if that happens or whatever.
I saw that.
Yeah, I've seen a few posts about it, and I'm just like, I don't know. That seems a little crazy, but I don't know.
Hey, Jerry Jones. Hey, you can never underestimate Jerry Jones. Never.
The other coach case says, please trade him for my entertainment. That'd be so funny. That would be really funny.
Now here's one more question for you, JD, on the draft. And then we'll get into the last topic of the show. One more question: Who would you rather have, CeeDee Lamb or Judy?
I mean, I don't feel like I'm qualified to make the best decision on this one because I just am not that well versed in college sports, but I do keep an eye on everything. And I've heard that Judy is, and I've seen that he's really talented. So I've heard he has a lot of potential, like Julio Jones potential. So if that's the case, then I'm going to go with Judy for sure. CeeDee Lamb might be good, but yeah, I don't know.
See, you had a pretty good comparison. Like, I think CeeDee Lamb is more versatile than Judy is just one of those guys. He's a big, tall receiver that will go up and get footballs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And but I think that's his game. You know that's his one game. And is he pretty good at it? Yeah, he is pretty good at it. But I think CeeDee Lamb is more versatile than I think Lamb's route tree is better. Um, I think just overall Lamb is a more versatile player. So I would take CeeDee Lamb over Judy first. Both of them very talented, but I think CeeDee Lamb's versatility is what's going to land. I think he's going to have more success than
interesting.
than
I
than
really think
Judy.
it depends on the quarterback and the team and the scheme for sure. That's a lot of it to me. But yeah, like the receivers are really dependent on a lot of things, in my opinion. But they also, they have to have talent. You're right. If you're not versatile, you won't get far.
So Coach K made a good point too. He said CeeDee Lamb's offensive scheme was more creative than Bama's. That's true. That's very true.
It depends on what your coach will want you to do. Like if Judy, what if Judy's even better than Bama was? It? Yeah, exactly. What if he was even better than Bama was able to give him?
So so this is an interesting point. It says the NFL for this virtual draft should have done a round a night for a week straight for 7 nights.
That'd be pretty cool. I would enjoy that.
Interesting.
I would enjoy that for sure.
It would have certainly
Yeah,
stretched the audience out. That's for sure.
they can be really creative with this if they really want to.
Mm.
Um, yeah, can be very creative. I don't think it makes a lot of difference not having the studio and the stage and everything and the suits. I don't think it makes that much difference.
Yeah.
Like we could still see there if you're a top pick and anyone really actually any pick up to the seventh round, the last pick. If you want to talk to an analyst about where you're going to pick, you can do it on webcam.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's good content. So
Now, final thoughts, JD, on this show, episode 4 today. So this saga between the NHL and the NBA seasons going on, taking place or not taking place, every like 3 or 4 days, it seems like the situation change. We get positive news, then we get negative news, then we get positive news. I mean, are we gonna have these seasons finish out? Are we gonna have them in late summer, mid to late summer? Are they gonna try and finish them, or are they just gonna scrap it and say forget about it? We'll start next year.
well, Dr. Fauci and all them and the president, they have a 3-step plan for everyone. So if that really does work like they say, then I think we have a good chance. Here's the negative and here's the positive. The negative is the NHL definitely hasn't said much, and the NBA said they don't know anything until, or they won't even talk about deciding anything until at least May 1st. So we're kind of stuck in limbo right now where we won't know anything for a little while, at least on basketball. Um, the baseball has talked about they pretty much can't afford to not have this. So they're pretty much doing literally everything possible to get their season finished or get their season started. Um, I don't know about baseball. I have no clue. I have no clue about any of them really, but I do think we'll have football. I do think we'll have football. Long time.
Yeah, see, I think out of all of them, the one that's safe is football. I think we might have to play. They might have to play games with no fans, but I think we're still gonna get that season. But I
It's too
just
much money.
every 3 or 4 days, man, you read good reports and then you read bad. I think that here's my take. They want to finish those 2 seasons. They want to finish for everybody. They want to finish for themselves. They want to finish. They want to finish those seasons. But I just with the current situation being the way it is, they have to wait and see how this stuff unfolds and like I guarantee they're still trying to work the logistics out of stuff. Like there's probably back behind the scenes stuff going on right now, but so much of this depends on how good or bad the situation is in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
If I had to guess, I think that we'll have both hockey and basketball, but it won't be for like 2 months, maybe more, and it will be a lot shorter. That's my guess.
See, I'm leaning towards them having like now reading the both positive and negative articles that I've seen and kind of having to read through a lot of red tape and read between the lines on a lot of these press releases. I think they want to have it. They really do. They want to finish these seasons out, even if it's in a shortened version of itself. They want to finish this. They want to finish these seasons out.
I haven't seen much for hockey, but you are 100% right about Adam Silver. He 100% wants to finish this shit. The baseball, from what I've seen, they're desperate to get it started again. So
I mean, they're all
yeah.
like they don't want to give up on a season. None of these leagues do, especially baseball. They're already the ratings have already like been tanking for them lately. Like they can't afford to miss a lot of an extended like they can't afford an extended absence. Like their sport's been in trouble for a while, but I do think we get I like just from like I said, from reading through all the red tape and just kind of having to read between the lines and stuff, I think we're gonna get these seasons, but I think it's gonna be midsummer for hockey and basketball. That's my thoughts now. I think it's gonna be midsummer.
Um, I'm kind of with you. About a month or two, we'll start to. I think people will start to say, okay, here's what we're gonna do: X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
And Firestore, I don't know if I'm streaming later. I might. I'm not sure.
But yeah,
But
man.
anyway,
So
yeah.
so one more. We'll so one more for you. Personal question. Your Bears. How do you want Chicago to draft this year? How do you want them to do? How do you want the Bears to draft this year?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, we don't have a first round pick, so we are limited for sure. I think that we need an O lineman to replace Kyle Long. We have a couple guys who can switch positions, so it's not necessarily that we need a certain position. We just need a really good alignment to fill one of our holes, like a guard or tackle, either one, really. Because Cody Whitehead can play anything. He can play a center, guard, tackle. He can play anything. So that's nice.
Yeah, he's like, what do they call him? He's like an auxiliary lineman. Like he can play guard or center, right?
Yeah, I love Cody Whitehair. He's one of the best picks we've had in a while. Heavily underrated, heavily under praised, but yeah, he's a great player. We just need one more guy besides him to carry the load on that line. We have a couple of guys that are decent, so I think we'll be okay. We need to protect Nick Foles. If we're gonna win it all, we need to protect. I never thought I'd say that, but we need to protect Nick Foles, and hopefully we can go like 10-6. But also besides you asked me about the draft. Sorry. We could use another defensive back too. Maybe
Like,
one of those receivers. Maybe one or two of the wide receivers that are so good.
what do you what are the pick? What do you pick, JD? When are the Bears picking in the second? Right, they don't have a first round, so when are they picking in the second?
O line. We got to get whoever's left. We
Yeah.
gotta get any O lineman that's left.
Even if it's
And
O
we're
line,
picking
even if it's O line depth, just you have, like you said, I'm 100% with you. Now that you actually have a quarterback who, who can actually throw on the run and who's been not only like he's been in pressure situations. Nick Foles has been in pressure situations and he knows how to conduct himself in games that are big that are big like that and that matter. So I think having an actual QB is gonna. I think that's gonna do nothing but benefit you guys this year.
Well, and he's not going to fold. Like, I'm not that okay. Mitchell Trubisky. A lot of people say he's like a choker. He's not clutch or whatever. It's not necessarily that he's a choker, but he doesn't do the little things really well, and that's kind of what we needed him to do in the playoffs. And he could only make the long throws, the throws that made people go, wow. He only can make those throws. He couldn't make the simple throws. And the one thing Nick Foles can do for your team is he's not going to mess it up. So he can make the easy ones. He can do the easy things. He's just not overwhelmingly talented.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so dude, let the let the D do its work. Just manage the game, score enough points to win, and go home. Like you know what I mean. Score enough points to go home.
Sure.
Don't score enough points to go home. Don't make stupid mistakes and win like that. Like that's not a bad way to win.
And Trubisky's a talented guy. I think we could honestly use him a couple times if he's willing to buy in and be a team guy. I think you kind of use him like a Taysom Hill. Not he's not as talented as Taysom Hill, obviously, physically, but he is a runner. He could confuse you, and he could come in as a receiver. Probably, he's an athlete.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I'm definitely with you on that one. But it's dude, this is gonna be interesting. First ever virtual draft. Hopefully, I guess they did a dry run Friday night. I want to say the NFL said. I think Friday night they did a dry kind of practice run. for the draft just to see how the communication would work, and they had a bunch of issues. Like they had a bunch of just issues between between the lines of communication and the serve. Like it was not a smooth run from what I've read. Like it took them a while to iron out a lot of these details and kinks, and just it's going to be, I mean, it's going to be worth watching because think about it, like just for the pure entertainment value. If somebody messes up a pick, or if a connection drops out or something, like it's for the pure entertainment value alone, it's going to be worth watching.
It'll be fun to watch. It'll be fun to see like how they handle this. I definitely think a dry run was smart because now going into it, you don't have any excuses. So that's definitely right. He said I would do that if I'm Brian Flores because he's defensive minded. You think the Dolphins can do a wild card and trade Isaiah Simmons or Brown and take Jordan Love at 18? I don't know if Jordan Love will be there at 18, but maybe.
Leedy, the Patriots could struggle this year, man. They could struggle this year. Not only are they kind of they're going to have to really work this year to get into double digit wins. But just with an aging roster and an unproven quarterback, I mean, they still have Belichick there, but like I said, aging roster and an unproven quarterback. You're gonna have to start building chemistry. They're gonna have to start building chemistry as soon as they can. It's the Patriots could struggle this year. Their schedule is not easy. They play the NFC West this year, so it's not like they're gonna have it easy. The Patriots could definitely struggle, man. They're gonna have a tough road.
I definitely think that. What if Belichick really did tank for Trevor Lawrence? What would you think?
I can't I wouldn't be able to fathom it because he's never been like he's like his attitude forever. He just likes winning too much. You know what I mean? So for him to be like, all right, we're just gonna roll it out, and if we go 4-12, we go 4-12, but we're getting Trevor Lawrence. That's never been like his mentality. Like it would be a complete shock to me to see him do that.
Over under 5. How many teams do you think have contacted Andrew Luck's agent?
I would think 3. I would think 3.
3. Okay. It's only 3 don't have no personal space. Man, if I'm a team and I'm one quarterback away, man, Andrew Luck, man, he's somebody who I really, really want.
Luck had so much potential too, dude. Like so much potential.
It's a damn shame, but
It is, man. Hey, but thanks for coming on today, JD. That was we covered a lot today, man, and definitely looking forward to the draft and to see which direction some of these teams are going in. Most of all, to see which direction my Patriots are going to go now that now that Brady's gone, and they're going to have to now it's officially the start of a new era. So. But there's a lot of wild card teams that definitely we're gonna have to keep our eye on and see what they do. It's gonna be interesting, man.
It really is. 5,000 yards, Tom Brady MVP this year. Calling it. Team Tom.
I'm gonna throw one out there that probably is not gonna make the Saints fans too happy, but I bet Brady beats Drew twice.
Oh, damn.
I bet the Buccaneers sweep the Saints this year. I'm gonna throw that one out there.
That's a pretty good one. By the way, Fire Destroyer, if I do get on tonight, it'll be New York Knicks rebuild, episode 7.
Are you still working on the Knicks rebuild?
Yeah. So the first episode we did really, really well. We made it to the playoffs. Second episode we went to the Western Conference Finals, and we failed. because Zach Randolph beat the crap out of us in Game 7, lost by 4 points. And then my team tanked, and Jimmy Butler's contract kind of ruined everything. So I hit the reset button in episode 4, and now I have a young foundation of young players. So it's getting pretty interesting.
All right, guys. But once again, thanks for watching. I just want to, real quick, I just want to give a fast shout out to all the members of the channel. D Salsa, Goose Sports, the other Coach K, Coach Plays, Debbie Funk, Catfish Terry, and OG Bosco. Once again, guys, thanks for all of the support. You guys are awesome. Much appreciated for that. And all the mods and everybody else, y'all are awesome as well. Love all y'all. And we are gone, guys. Thanks for tuning in. JD, we out, brother. Any final thoughts?
We got to do another conversation with Goose too, but yeah, nothing else. Yeah, that sounds fun.
All right, brother. Y'all take it easy. JD, you have a good night, boss. And we are gone, guys.
You too, buddy.
Deuces. Peace.